Last year, the electronic music scene was shocked when ERM announced that they would quit business, because this meant the end of the Multiclock, the holy grail of MIDI sync. The last available stocks were quickly sold out and sadness descended over the land. But don't panic, relax and listen to the good news in this video. Hi folks! If you want to know what you can do with the Multiclock and why it will quickly become indispensable in any studio trying to sync a DAW with external MIDI gear, you came to the right place. First, I would like to introduce you to Sebastian, who is the genius brain behind such interesting devices like the Flame Meander, the new Fire or the MFB Tanzbär. And of course, one of the inventors of the Multiclock. The good news is that Sebastian took the opportunity to start his own business to keep the Multiclock going. It's called Floatingpoint Instruments. And the new Multiclock is already available in all major gear outlets. If you'd like to support my channel and of course Sebastian with your purchases, you will find affiliate links to Thomann and Perfect Circuit in the description. If you don't need to buy something, we will also be happy about your likes and subscriptions. Thanks for that. As contrary to me, Sebastian is not a man of big words. Later on he will show us some bits and tricks with the Multiclock you maybe did not figure out yet. See you! But first I will quickly explain what the Multiclock is and what it does. If you are using external sequencers and drum computers in combination with the DAW like Ableton Live, Bitwig, Logic or even Cubase and Pro Tools, you might know the following problem. Your DAW runs just fine when you are working in the box, but when you start to connect external MIDI gear, especially via USB, your groove starts to become wonky and beats are kind of randomly offset. This is where the Multiclock enters the game. So first, some technical stuff to explain how this thing works. So first, it can act as a master clock without any computer. So in this mode it is perfect for Dawless jams. Just plug it in, connect your gear and start everything from the Multiclock. To set it up with your DAW, you first need an empty audio track. Then you load the VST plugin that is available for Windows and Mac, even with native N1 support, sehr gut, into this new track. Then you route the signal from the VST to an individual output. This is the only weak point if your interface lacks outputs. Now take this audio signal that sounds like this and plug it into the Multiclock input. On the Multiclock you now should select the following parameters to get ready. First, you have to select the sync source on the Multiclock. Therefore, you press the Select menu button, navigate to the Source menu and press the encoder. This opens the Source menu. Here you can simply select your sync source with the navigation encoder. So the first is the audio in, and this is also what we need now. Then you also have the choice for internal. This sets the Multiclock as a master, but you can also select the MIDI in, the USB MIDI and the DIN sync. To go back, simply press the menu button and the navigate encoder. So now when you start your DAW, the Multiclock will automatically run in sync with your computer. By default, the multiclock will start after 1 bar. And it does this for a very good reason, because you can individually set the start points of each MIDI port ahead of the 0 in case you have a drum machine that starts earlier. On the other hand, if you are like me and you want to start everything at once, there's a simple workaround. To set this, you have to go to the Configurations menu. Therefore, press the Select menu and navigate to the Configurations menu. Then press the encoder. By default, the machine mode is set to negative positive. In this position, the multiclock gives one measure of pre-roll before all the instrument starts. If you don't like this, simply change the machine mode to positive only. To do so, press the encoder and set the machine mode to positive. Now everything starts at once and is tight. To set up the individual channels, simply hold the Set Channel button and press the button of the corresponding channel. This is how to tell each channel whether to send MIDI clock, DIN sync or an analog trigger. Here you go. This is it for the setup. So let's have a look to the different functions and features. So why is the multiclock even necessary? Computers and DAWs like Ableton Live, and there's no difference between Mac and PC here, prioritize audio signals to MIDI. Because audible glitches in your audio tracks is not what you want to encounter in the first place. And don't forget that MIDI is a now 40 years old kind of prehistoric data exchange standard, which handles data reliably, serially and slowly. If you are just playing some MIDI notes on your keyboard, it doesn't matter. But when it comes to timing sensitive data like MIDI clock, precision might not be at the rendezvous. And this is why the multiclock takes one of those prioritized audio signals from your computer to generate a clean and precise MIDI clock, which can even be converted to DIN sync for old Rolands and trigger signals for other analog gear. So here are some practical use cases and solutions for the multiclock. Fix latency issues in your DAW. If you are watching this video, you might have encountered latency problems in your DAW with external instruments, effects and direct audio signals, especially when they are connected via USB. With the multiclock, it becomes a child's play to align the different instruments and to get them right on the one. Therefore, it's a good investment in every professional environment, which will save your precious time, creativity and money. MIDI sync for your DIN sync oldies. If your mate comes along with a precious museum piece, you don't have to fear Roland's pre-MIDI dinosaurs DIN sync standard anymore. The multiclock just does it for you in perfection. Just set it up in the channel menu, which is easy to open by simply pressing the menu key and the channel key at once. Nice. Then it keeps even the wobbliest 80s gear in sync. When it comes to old MIDI gear, like those old drum machines, you may encounter difficulties with sync when they are set as slave to the DAW. The Casio RZ1 becomes literally unplayable, which obliges you to set it as a master for the complete studio. If you just have one MIDI in and out from your audio interface, this can become a hassle, especially if you build MIDI through chains. Since I run the Casio on a separate MIDI channel of the multiclock, it's running tight to the rest, as it never was tight before. Funky. And this, of course, Mix your beats tighter. Na klar. This is the strongest plus of a multi-clock synced MIDI setup. Super tight grooves right from the beginning of every session. And you can even add some extra swing to your gear. A must for any serious electronic beats creator. Then it has 4 separate MIDI ports with 16 channels each. Aside the bespoke audio connection from your DAW to sync the multiclock, you can also connect it to your PC via USB. But in this case, the USB connection is better not used for MIDI clock. Although it could do it, Floatingpoint does not recommend it because it would, of course, negate its greatest advantage. But once the multiclock is plugged in with USB, you can instantly use 4 additional MIDI ports on your computer while the sync is still managed via the audio signal connection. This allows you to use up to 64 MIDI channels with this MIDI interface. So you can even make use of the multiclock when you are not syncing. It's then a fully featured MIDI interface with 4 physical ports to connect your synths. As it has only one physical MIDI input, it offers a MIDI Mapper, which is also easily accessible via the menu and very handy for any imaginable scenario. Then it has additional sound design gimmicks, like an analog LFO and a MIDI controller. A proof which shows that my friend Sebastian is not only a tech geek, but also a skilled musician himself, are the 2 functions I will show you here. Channel 1, that comes with an analog output, can also serve as an additional LFO for your analog synths. And if you are not into analog stuff, you can still use the multiclock as a MIDI controller box with 8 assignable dials. After our first multiclock review, some people wanted to know if it is possible to use 2 multiclocks in parallel. Of course it is, and there are different ways to achieve this. The easiest method I figured out with Sebastian is to route the multiclock plugin to a stereo channel output of your DAW's interface or mixer output. Then you simply take the 2 outputs separately to the 2 multiclocks. Done. If your interface really lacks hardware audio outputs, you could also sync the second multiclock directly to the first one. And here again, you have the choice to do it via DIN MIDI or analog trigger, just as you like and as your setup works best. But in this case, you will lose one of the 4 MIDI and sync ports on the first clock. The multiclock is simply a great tool to handle MIDI data even in bigger setups. For sure. I will also keep the second one. So thank you for watching this until the end. If you'd like to motivate me even more to create more videos, give this one a like and subscribe to our channel. And of course, share it with your friends wherever you are. Thanks for that. The Floatingpoint Instruments Multiclock is still one of my hottest recommendations in terms of MIDI accessories. It makes studio life definitely much more convenient and is always running my setup. And for me, the best thing about it is that shortly after my initial multiclock video, Sebastian contacted me to visit the wine shop. As he lives in a neighborhood next to mine, we became friends. As I like him and his products, I offered him to make free promotion for his gear on my channel. And I can tell you that there's really awesome stuff in the making. So stay tuned if you want to be among the first people to know more about the Floatingpoint news. See you in the next one. Peace and Dankeschön.